Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you tonight with another Garage Gun Talk. And tonight I just want to talk guns. I know often I talk about politics or current events or things going on, but I just want to talk guns tonight. That's just what I'm in the mood to do. And I brought out one of my personal AR-15 builds. This is one of the builds that I would have to say is kind of in a unique place in my collection because I refer to it as an inspired build. It's not a new build. It's one that I built quite a long time ago. And I guess by quite a long time ago, I would say 3 or 4 years ago. And I've kind of added to it little bit by little bit. And the reason I say it's an inspired build is this is a gun that was inspired by the Mk12. Now, you guys know I recently cloned the Mk12 Mod 0 and Mod 1s. And when people see this rifle and what's on it, of course, people are saying, that's not a clone of a Mk12. No, it is not a clone of a Mk12. Do not compare it to a Mk12, except for the concept of like a special purpose DMR style rifle chambered in 5.56. That's what this was. There are certain aspects about it that when I first kind of built it, I liked the concept of an 18-inch barreled, AR-15, designed more for accuracy, put on some quality optics, quality options, good trigger. So it's not a Mk12 clone. It is not. I'm going to repeat that because I know people in the comments are going to go crazy when you say it's a Mk12 inspired. Well, that's nothing like a Mk12. No, I'm not claiming it is. It's just the concept was inspired by the Mk12. And I would say that when it comes to my rifle builds, they all kind of fall into certain categories. I have my cheap fun builds, ones that maybe I just spend a lot of money on. They're just designed to have fun with, like that little 9mm. Originally, it was the 9mm AR pistol that I did all those pistol brace videos on that I turned into kind of like an A1 style 9mm SBR. And then, of course, I have my high-end clone builds that I pretty much spare no expense on. And then I got the kind of stuff that's kind of in between. And this rifle, I would have to say, is probably the nicest build I have ever done with the highest quality parts that's not a clone. And I really like how this thing turned out. So I'll show it to you, and then I'll talk about why I actually have it out here in the garage. 18-inch barrel. So let's talk, I guess, start from the back here. We have the Magpul, the STR. It kind of looks like the SOTMOD stock, but it's not a SOTMOD stock, but it's very, very, very close to it, obviously. Let's see here. What else do I got on? I got a CQD sling swivel here in the back. I borrowed this from the Mark 18 clones that I have done in the past. I have a Bushmaster retro lower receiver. So it has like these retro markings on it. I think I picked this up a long time ago from Brownells. I thought the markings and engravings on it were really cool. I believe it is an FN upper receiver that I bought stripped. The trigger in it is a Timney trigger. I got the K&S non-rotating pin set. All of the controls on this are the Seekins Precision ones. And they are ambi. I guess the safety selector is ambi. You can see that right there. And the grip I have on this is, I think it's a BCM. I believe it is. It's not marked, but I think it is a BCM. Yeah. Up here on the top, I have a Trijicon 3.5 to 35, or by 35 ACOG on it. And I like this ACOG a lot. It has the green fiber optic reticle. Obviously has the tritium inside. But the 3.5 ones have a much more forgiving eye relief than the 4-powered ones. I know the 4-powered ones are more of the military ones. This one works great. And I think for this build, I love this ACOG. It's not the most powerful optic out there, but, you know, 3.5 times is perfectly fine for what I'm going to do with it going out to a couple hundred yards. It works great, obviously. I picked this up actually from a guy that closed a gun store that he owned, and he had a bunch of inventory, and he had kind of listed some stuff on Texas Gun Trader, which was like the local website around here for buying and selling gun parts and stuff like that. And so he had some Trijicons. He's like, hey, I closed my gun store. I got to get rid of this inventory. I was a Trijicon dealer, and I picked this thing up for an amazing price, well below what you would get it in a store. The handguard I have on this thing is an SLR handguard. Now, my friend Brandon turned me on to these. Now, the one thing about them that I like is the looks. I like how narrow they are, but then I also don't like the fact about how narrow they are. They're extremely light, tons of M-lock. But yeah, at first I was like, that looks really cool and sexy and sleek. But then the thinner handguards, I don't think they mitigate the heat very well. However, because this is designed more for like bench resting, it doesn't bother me as much. Obviously, I have a Magpul vertical foregrip on this. This whole build is a lot lighter than like a Mark 12. So my goal with this was to have an accurate rifle to go out to further distances with, but also have one that if I folded the bipod up, I could use as like a standard, carbine. And this SLR handguard does great for that. Very, very light. Obviously, I have the Harris bipod out here with a Knights Armament. It's the bipod adapter. I don't know why I couldn't remember that real fast. I just got that attached to a piece of M-lock rail section up here. I'm running Magpul Pro backup sights. They're on the front and they're on the back. And the bolt carrier, and this I have to check here, it's a Seekins Precision bolt carrier with a Sharps Reliabolt. And I remember when Sharps came out with the Reliabolt, and I really thought they were going to take off with that. I'm not even sure if Sharps is still in business. I think they are, but they redesigned the shape of the locking lugs of the bolt, and I find them to work really, really well. So that's what I have in that. The barrel, some of you guys are going to ask, is an FN 18-inch 1 and 7 twist cold hammer forged barrel. So it's not like the Mark 12 where you have the Douglas barrel, accurized stainless steel. It's more of a mil-spec barrel, but it's extremely, extremely accurate. I have a CQD M-lock sling swivel up here on the front. And the suppressor that I'm running out here is the SIG SRD 556. Now, I'm going to tell you that while I'm not the biggest fan of the way that this attaches, it attaches just fine. This was designed back when Kevin Brittingham was working for SIG, and he had some really, really cool ideas. But this, I think, is the most cool-looking suppressor that I own. I absolutely love the fact that it tapers here in the rear. That looks really cool. And as you can see, it's a tubeless design, so all the baffles are just welded together. It doesn't have an outer tube. So it's just a one-piece, completely welded. It's really light. The whole thing is made from Inconel and Stellite. So it's extremely, extremely durable. And I think that pretty much is the rifle. It's a pretty sweet shooting rifle. I absolutely love this thing. And as I said, it's one of those guns that, while it's not a clone, I think I spent a good amount of money on it making it nice. And that's what I have here. And the reason I have this out is it's been sitting in the safe for a while. And now that I did those Mark 12 builds where I put together the cases, kind of like the loadout kits, I was like, that'd be cool to have on some of my other rifles. And I have these cases that sit in the closet that I've never really used. And I'll show you one here. I don't know when I got this one. It was a while ago. It just says it's a all-weather tactical. It's actually a pretty nice case. It is weather resistant. It's about the size as the Pelican that I have for the Mark 12s. And these came with those foam inserts that you can remove, like those little squares, and kind of form to your rifle. But I want this to be a little bit nicer. And I took out that because those little inserts don't work well. I still have the foam in the top and the bottom, but it's that center insert that I want to make to work with this and kind of put together like a Mark 12. Let me see if I have the foam. No, the foam's over there. Oh yeah, here's that foam insert that I was talking about right here that you can like pull out like different squares. It's not perfect, and once you take the stuff out for one rifle, you can't really reuse it and shape it for another rifle. So I wanted to get rid of that. And I do have these extra Pelican ones right here, soft, and I thought I would cut these and kind of make slots for this rifle. Kind of make it like a Mark 12 and put it into this case. Now, I had two of these foam inserts, and I've already destroyed one because I tried to use a box cutter. I saw some people online saying, no, you can use these, they're super sharp, but I wasn't able to get a good cut through the foam and make it where it looked good. Now, I can make it where it worked, but I was not happy. You guys know I am OCD. I went online, looked at some videos on how to cut foam, and I saw that Mr. Guns and Gear had one where he used like an electric knife, like you carve a turkey with. And while it worked, I was not happy with how, jagged the edges were. Until I found some guy that had a very interesting idea. And I'm going to try this tonight. See if I can cut this foam. He said to use a skinning knife for like hunting. So I'm not a hunter, so I don't have a bunch of hunting gear and knives, but I went online and I found this one from Old Timer. I know it's made in China, but it's a skinning knife. And it's, I guess, pretty good for cutting this foam because it has a long, really sharp blade. And so what I'm going to have to do is lay out the parts where I want them. I outline them with a Sharpie. And then I guess I'll probably get a piece of wood or something, put this over it, and then, or under it. So when I cut through it, I won't cut into my workbench or anything. And then use this skinning knife, and it's supposed to give you a pretty darn sharp, clean cut. And that's what I'm going to do if it works. If it doesn't work, I don't know. Maybe I'll try something else another day. But I might destroy this foam tonight. I don't know. I know I have to cut some width off of it, like up here. I have to cut that down to make it fit in this case. But that's what I'm going to start with. And that's what I'm doing. So that's why I have this rifle out here. And wanted to talk to you guys about it and see if you guys have ever cut any foam for cases, and what method did you use, and were you successful with it, and did it look good? Because I'm trying to figure this out. Now, if I mess this up, I can buy this foam again for like 30 bucks or something, so I may do that if I can find a different way. But here we go. So that's why I bought this and why I have this rifle out. It's kind of like my project for the night. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like this rifle and this setup? Man, I just love that suppressor and how it looks. That is just one sexy looking suppressor. Love that thing. But I love this rifle. It's a really cool rifle. It's I said probably my nicest rifle build that's not a clone of any kind. Man, that too many triggers, nice. So anyway, that's what I got going on tonight. Just wanted to talk guns. And so tell me about cutting foam and your experiences, if you've never done it. What do you think about this rifle? And you don't have to tell me in the comment section that it's not a Mark 12. I know it's not a Mark 12. It's just inspired by the philosophy of a Mark 12. That's it. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about tonight. Hope you guys are doing well and having a wonderful week. So, as always, thanks for watching.